before we get started with this video, what the hell did they do to this Echo skin? This is my favorite Echo skin, and they've clearly done something to it. Look at this, the textures and the way everything looked, it didn't used to be like this. Now I know Blizzard updates skins over time. They never actually tell people what skins they update and things like that. I've noticed some of the skins that have been updated, and I might just make a video or like, I don't know, something like talking about it. But why did they feel the need to update the Surf's Up skin for Echo? The skin looked fine as it was. There's this like weird blue glow or like flashing that's happening. It looks so weird, and then the textures up here in her face and the hair have gotten so much more aggressive. It just looks so bad. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't like, look how aggressive that water ripple effect is. Like, before it was much lighter and it looked better, and now it just like, it looks so much more aggressive. I don't know, it's just me. But yeah, anyways, let's talk about Farah. How is this hero still allowed to be this strong is beyond me. Farah is so powerful. It is like having the AC-130 kill streak available to you from Call of Duty all the time. Like, if you have that good fire player on your team, you're chilling, you're sipping tea, you can eat biscuits, you can legitimately start shaving your armpit hair for no reason on the battlefield to assert dominance for some reason, and like your fire will just be destroying the entire lobby. You can legitimately AFK, go and make yourself a cup of coffee and come back, and your fire will still be dog walking people's asses in that lobby. Farah is so unbelievably strong. So let's talk about her and where her power comes from. So obviously this is the new Farah rework that's made her very strong, and I actually made a video a while back where when I figured out the playstyle of how to play Farah, I said, hey guys, you know, Farah has the potential to actually be meta, and I feel like not enough people are talking about it because people were trying to force Farah in this like old school Farah playstyle and not adopting to her new one. So now you might be asking, well, Abby, what does her new playstyle look like? And I'm here to tell you, it looks like a hybrid of her old playstyle that is only relevant for like a couple of seconds, but then you have to mix it up with like a little bit more of like a, you know, ground Farah, hovering Farah, like, you know, style of play where it ends up feeling like a more consistent Junkrat playstyle, and she's very powerful. Now, what's made her so powerful? You know, I try to break these things down so it's easier for the, you know, average Overwatch player to digest and not talk about the specifics and numerics way too much, because there's way too many people that do that, and I try to, you know, just tell you the easy way of understanding what's going on. In Farah's rework, they wanted to try and help her in making her relevant without mercy. They actually succeeded at that. Now, you can actually play Farah and still dominate the game without a mercy in the lobby. Sure, you'll be limited in some maps in some places and against certain heroes, but she's still very powerful. The first thing that got reworked was the way her primary fire is working right now is the rockets are much faster. Against the tank matchup as well, Farah's matchup against tanks, the new armor value, she actually does a little bit more damage against that. In the previous armor value, she was actually kept a little bit more in check. And, you know, this makes her one of those few DPS that can actually contest the tank role really well. So there's a lot of power in her kit to be able to, you know, really take over the games. Not to mention concussion mine, I don't know, it's not called concussion mine, her concussive blast or whatever you want to call it, her boop, her E. That has been reworked to where once you like shoot that thing, the knockback isn't as good as it was before, but it has damage on it now. So you can even use it to secure kills. I've actually used it to secure some kills. I'm not gonna lie. That thing is actually really underrated in how consistent it can feel sometimes in securing a kill without you having to get into melee range. It's almost like, you know, she throws her fist down, comes back down and puts it back on like she's a, you know, like a toy, like a Lego toy where you can take them apart and put them back together. Speaking of Lego toys and walking over things and, you know, getting pain out of it, Farah can walk over everybody with her new speed and the way her flight and hover kind of works. So what is the rework that happened to her movement? Not only did they rework her in a way where they could eliminate the perma-flight Farah playstyle, but they gave her more speed to hover around better so she could dodge bullets against hit scans much more consistently. And alongside that, they gave her a new ability on the, you know, right-click mouse button or alt fire for, you know, other people like that are playing on consoles, whatever your alt fire button is. Basically, it allows her to have a dash. So her mobility is out of control. If there's any character that I can definitely say that, yeah, this is mobility creep on the spot, Farah is also one of them. And don't get me wrong, I love Farah. I have over 500 hours. She was like, her and Genji were like my favorite heroes in Overwatch 1. And till this day, her and Genji are some of my most favorite characters to play outside of like characters like Reinhardt, Doomfist, and Hanzo. I just love Farah's design and the gameplay that she promotes. But I cannot lie that definitely now with the power levels of some things going down and the game kind of like, you know, moving around a little bit, I've come to realize that Farah is way too out of control, and I'm seeing complaints everywhere that Farah is taking over all the lobbies. You know, she's not just a problem now in low elo, she's a problem in high elo. In fact, Blizzard actually came out and said that, did you know that Farah is basically 58% win rate, which means she's nearing, if we round it off, she has a 60% win rate. This character in the mid-season patch needs to get guttered. Not tomorrow, not after breakfast. Now, Blizzard, the mid-season patch is not that far away, if I'm not mistaken. We got the Summer Games thing and some, you know, Transformers collab coming up. So Blizzard, please, for the love of God, do not screw this up. Farah needs a nerf, and she desperately needs it. Now, before I get to, you know, how to deal with fire, we've talked about, you know, her primary fire, her rockets are shooting out faster. I think I spoke about that. She's just faster in general. Her movement is faster. Her shots are faster. She feels so consistent and so aggressive that no other character is on her level outside of maybe Tracer on how you can like control and dominate the battlefield. At least in ranked and solo queue and quick play, you could definitely feel like an uncontestable warlord, or legitimately like the AC-130 from Call of Duty, just pew 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 shooting everything down, and there's legitimately nothing anybody can do about it. And you know, you get to have the time of your life. And even if they play hit scans, if you know how to take your angles properly and, you know, shoot those people down, it is you are legitimately lobby admin, and you are, you know, dictating who gets to play the game and who doesn't. And unfortunately, you know, this version of Farah is something I think is unhealthy. I think Farah is a healthy hero, but the current iteration of her and the way she's powered and everything, it's a little bit too silly. So let's talk about what we need to do to bring Farah down a little bit. And unironically, we just need to tone down the speed of how she's moving. I think her jet dash should have a little bit 1 or 2 second extra cooldown. And then the rockets that are shooting out, I think giving them so much more speed was maybe an oversight. I think you should revert the rocket speed back to the original, like super original Overwatch 1 value, where it's a little bit slow. There's many ways we could approach Farah, right? But in my personal opinion, I think making her slower and, let's say, heavier to feel as you play the character, that might be, you know, the way to go forward, because there's more window to deal with her. But if she's like landing her direct, she should be rewarded for it. So I don't know if you want to touch the damage value or not, but alternatively, the other way to approach her is to let her have her speed in the way she's moving with her dash, her jump, her flight, her hover, and all of that. And approach the numbers where we actually nerf her damage. So the alternative way to approach Farah would be to nerf her damage, because she does do a lot of damage, and that damage is coming down really fast. So, you know, instead the argument could be, well, because Farah's damage is so consistent, it's so quick, the way we're going to be nerfing her is toning down the damage in hopes that, you know, like we, you know, deal with the way that she's like just poking people from across the map, and because she also has no damage fall off, she will get max damage value. Alternatively, there's also a way of approaching this, is we nerf the splash damage a lot, and we just allow the power to remain in her direct hit. So it's like, okay, if you're landing your shots, it's fine, but if you're relying on splashes, you don't deserve to get a kill. Now, this actually sets apart a lot of fire players. A lot of fire players in low elo do rely on using the splash damage. I'm not going to lie, even I rely on the splash damage sometimes, because there's just, you know, some characters are way too hard to hit, and you really do need to rely on splash damage. But I do believe that is one of the ways that we can approach the character and tone down her power. However, I want to ask you, my beautiful viewers, how would you nerf Farah? That is the burning question today. How would you nerf Farah? How would you approach the character? Where do you think we need to tone her down? And if anybody says that there's a, like, her ultimate is strong and her ultimate is a problem, for the love of God, bro, please get good at the game. Her ultimate is a joke. It's one of the worst ults in the game. It's just a suicide button for the character. Like, the power is in her neutral gameplay, and that's what we should approach. So, with that being said, let me know, how would you nerf Farah? And what other characters do you think are a bit of a standout? Now, I will give you guys a bit of a spoiler, since you are watching this video. I'll give you a bit of a spoiler. 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐿 and 𝐒𝐈𝐈𝐓 videos coming very soon on both their states. So we're going to talk about them. Okay, we're going to talk about 𝐒𝐈𝐿 and 𝐒𝐈𝐓 really soon, and how they've taken over the game, and that's going to lead us up into the mid-season, and then we're going to do some other fun, you know, video formats and things like that from there. Now, with that being said, everybody, if you've enjoyed the content, you want to support the channel for free, all you have to do is hit like and subscribe. It helps me with the algorithm, helps me get around. And finally, if you want to support the channel financially, channel membership are now up. However, if you prefer using Patreon, do check out the Patreon. Any form of help and any form of support means the world to me. It doesn't have to be financial, but whatever you guys do, just know that I deeply appreciate it, and much love as always. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video where we'll be talking about the cowboy who can do it all, Cassidy.